Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Primetime Alberta Sports Show. Today is Remembrance Day, so happy Remembrance Day to all of you. This evening's show is brought to you by Cobb Sports Marketing made simple. This evening, we're going to be talking with Chloe. She is an 8-year-old girl. It is in grade 3 that horseback rides. And there's a very special guest that we have with us this evening. Her coach, Hailey, is with us, and she's going to explain why Chloe is so special. This young lady just started horseback riding and has won so many awards already and is only 8 years old. I personally don't know much about horseback riding, so let's stay tuned this evening, talk with Hailey, find out what it takes to be a horseback rider, and I probably already screwed it up. But anyhow, stay with us. We're going to come back and we're going to have Hailey, who is Chloe's coach. Chloe, or Hailey's coach. Hailey, Chloe, mix it all up. Hailey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Happy Remembrance Day.
Happy Remembrance Day to you as well.
And thank you very much for joining us tonight. I understand you are a busy young lady. You are a teacher. You are a horseback ride instructor. Yep. And you are sitting and it looks like a store. Do you work there too?
Yes, it's the Advanced Connection Tack Shop. So I work here and in the barn. The tack shop is on site, which is great because you can literally be in the barn and you're like, oh my gosh, I need this for my horse. And you just run in here, grab it, spend all your money, because of course, why not? And then run back into the barn and you're good to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Hailey, tell us about yourself. How long have you been teaching? How long have you been, tell us.
Okay, so I kind of have a unique story. I grew up loving horses. I always really enjoyed them. And a year and a half ago, just over a year and a half ago, I knew for a long time I wanted to run for Calgary Stampede royalty. And you're able to ride any horse because they just throw you on a horse. So in May of last year, I started riding, actually riding horses and taking lessons. And I ended up at Advanced Connection Equestrian, the barn I'm at right now, and rode Western and made it to the top 6 of Calgary Stampede royalty. So I was really impressed with myself because it's a hard thing to kind of get to after you don't ride horses. And I had ridden horses for 3 months at that point. And then I'd only ridden Western at that time. And then in a year ago, actually now, I rode English for the first time and jumped for the very first time. And it was the scariest thing of my life because I'm used to this nice big saddle with a horn you can hold on to. Yeah. And you have nothing and your horse is going over this fence and it's scary. But I loved it. And so I started taking lessons and rode every single horse possible and rode every single day and still ride a ton. And then I really enjoy kids and students and teaching. So I got asked to start coaching some of the younger ones because I progress so quickly and I really connect with the students. And so I got hired on as an instructor and it's been awesome. I really, really enjoy it.
Wow, that's quite the resume. I was just trying to take some notes there. That's wow. So you went from just jumping on a horse to now being able to train these young ladies and men, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And this must be, a passion of yours then to be able to do this with horses. I personally don't know very much about horses other than they're big, they're expensive, and they poop.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty much. Hey. So I guess explain to us what, how you've been able to train these young men and girls and get Chloe, because she's only 8. She, from my notes here, she was a beginner. Yeah. And she's won quite a few awards already. So what does it take from your end as being a coach to prepare a young man or woman for this?
Yeah. So a big part of being in the equestrian world is being comfortable with yourself and around the horses. Like, they are large animals. And the very first lesson I ever teach any one of my students is you need to take control. You go out there and you catch your own. I teach them every basic, whether you're 4 years old or 40 years old. Like, you're starting from step one of what's a saddle, what's a bridle, every single piece of tack and equipment that goes on the horse, to how you brush your horse, to how you go and catch your horse. And you need, especially with big animals like this, like Chloe's tiny. A lot of my students are very small, and you need to be the boss of these animals because they can run you over no problem, but they also will respect you if you're in control. And I think it teaches a lot of the students confidence, and it projects into other aspects of their life. And then the other part of it is that it teaches them a ton of responsibility because they have to tack up for themselves and get their horse ready for their lesson themselves, and then clean up after their horse. As you said, they poop a lot. So I'm not cleaning that up. Parents are not cleaning, you are. My favorite thing is when I go back into the barn and I'll see like parents sweeping up after the kids or like picking up the poop. I'm like, no, this isn't your job. Like, you can guide your kid, but I'll be the bad guy. I have no problem with it. I'll tell them that they need to clean it up.
Awesome.
It definitely will reflect at home and in other aspects of their life as well, which is really nice to see.
So you mentioned a few things, not knowing much about horses myself, and maybe some of our audience doesn't know. What's a tack?
A tack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Tack is their saddle and all the things that you would put on your horse to ride. So like, your saddle is a piece of equipment that goes on the back of the horse that you can use to get on, and a bridle goes into their horse's mouth and it helps you steer your horse. So the tack is just a general overall term, as if you were putting on like bracelets or jewelry, I guess, kind of, for humans.
Now, I must say, I have gone to Spruce Meadows. Yes. I have seen some of it. How long have those particular individuals been training, and is Chloe even able to do that?
Yes, of course. She can definitely do that. Spruce Meadows offers a lot of variety of riding. So you have the Olympic riders and the people that come from Europe that fly their horses over to come and ride at Spruce Meadows because of the facility is amazing. But we actually have the opportunity as amateur riders to also go to Spruce Meadows and show. It costs a good chunk of change, but you are able to go and show. There's tons of different divisions and height levels. So the way show jumping is split up, it's based on the height you want to jump. So some shows start at poles on the ground, which is literally just exactly what it sounds like, a pole that lays on the ground and the rider goes over it. So it's not really jumping, but it's the stepping stones that build to jumping. And then you go to cross rails, which is an X on the ground, and it's very small, but it gives the confidence for the rider. A lot of it is a mental game for students, and jumping especially, because it can be scary when you look at this rail that's straight across and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going over that thing, like I'm gonna, but a cross rail, it makes it seem smaller, but it's probably bigger than your little vertical that you have out there. So you can do poles on the ground, cross rails, 2 foot, all the way up to 1.30 meters, 1.40 meters, which are very big jumps. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, so it is all over the spectrum, which is a great part about this sport, is that you can go places and participate in shows and events and be at any level that you're
so I'm a father of a daughter who she plays hockey. Is there a type of training regiment in this that there would be in hockey? Like, they have to do weight training, there's mental coaches, there's dietitians that talk to them about what they need to intake for food. Is this a similar type atmosphere where we'd be doing this with these athletes as well?
You bet. But it's a lot more complicated because it's not just one athlete right now, it's 2 athletes now, especially at that Olympic level. Like, it's not only the rider, but it's your horse itself, that it's an extreme routine for them. Not only are you going through rigorous training and riding all the time, and your mental game has to be there and your physical game has to be there, but now your horse also has to be at that level to compete at that level. So horses, even at our barn, which we're an amateur barn, are on ridiculous diets sometimes. Me personally, I put my horse on all the supplements because I don't want them to ever get injured. Right. So I couldn't even imagine what some of those Olympic horses, what their diets and their training regimens are.
So are we talking like lettuce, carrots, apples, or are we talking like hay and oats and barley? Like what would the horse eat?
So hay is number one forage, hay, grass. We do a sugar-free grain here. It's called Cool Stance, and we have the line, and I swear by it. I would feed it to any horse possible, and we have a complete stance is the product line. We give horses turmerical, just like humans. It's good for their bones and their hair and their joints. They'll have like vitamins, vitamins and minerals, salt, water. But the main food intake for horses is definitely the hay.
Wow.
Important.
You're not kidding. That's awesome. Yeah. So your role with Chloe, when you first saw Chloe, what would have been some of the things that you would have talked to her about? So if I'm a rookie, I know I'm old, but if I'm a rookie, maybe I'm like 8, 9, or 10 years old, and I come, what are some of the questions you would ask me to get involved in the sport, I guess, right?
Yeah. So usually I do my intro session, and then we kind of decide whether the student wants to continue taking lessons or if this is kind of not their thing, because some kids don't really enjoy it. And after that, we build on the basics. And then I always ask all of my students, I'm like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do? And that's a very generic term, especially for kids. So I usually break it down. I'm like, what is your goal for this lesson? At the end of this lesson, what do you want to be able to do? At the end of the month, what do you want to be able to do? And in 6 months from now, what do you want your goal to be? So I kind of have an idea of what they want to do and how I can get them there. And then we can kind of figure out what's realistic for them, what's not realistic, and try to achieve some of those goals. And then it goes back to relating to the rest of life, right? So with Chloe, I remember I was like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to be able to do? And at first it was, I want to be able to trot like an entire lap around. Cool. And she nailed it. Honestly, she's really good at having a goal in her mind and then being like, okay, I'm going to reach this goal for sure. Like, this is what I want to do. And then it was, she wanted to be able to canter. And so I was like, okay, these are the steps that you need to be able to do to canter. And she did it, no problems. So I think it's just really important to have those stepping stones and always looking for the future and building on that just to keep kids motivated, because it's really easy to lose your focus and lose what you want to do and what you want to get out of it.
Now, I understand we have some video of some of this. So maybe you can take us through some of these steps. Like, what are we seeing here? I'm assuming this is Chloe.
Yes, so this is Chloe at show. And this is a flat class is what we call it. So there's everyone who's in her division. So this is cross rails. She was doing cross rails at this show. And everyone is in her class. They're just going in a circle. And the judge will say, walk, please. So the rider is being judged on how well they can make the horse move and what their equitation, how they look, how they're rising and falling, if you like see them stand and sit, and how their posture is and how their elbows are. Then they'll say, the judge will say, trot, please. So this is what they're doing right now, is they're trotting, and it's just a little bit of a faster motion. And then they'll say, canter, please, which is kind of like a run for humans per se. And the judge will be looking at making sure that the rider's on the proper diagonal, which is the leg she stands and sits with. There she goes into a canter, and with their overall posture, confidence, that kind of is what the judge is looking for, and it's specifically about them. Cool.
Now, you brought up, that's fast. Okay, I'm out. Does it take a lot of skill to be able to do that with a horse? And she's 8.
Yes. Yeah. It's skill and we have some really amazing horses at our program and our facility, which is great. But a huge part of it is the students' confidence, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Building the confidence and getting the kids to the level of it's okay to canter. It's okay to go over this fence, and it can be scary, but it's so fun. Once you're like comfortable around it, it is the best feeling in the world. All you want to do is canter laps and laps and laps around the arena because it's so fun.
Now, you brought up something, divisions. Is it kind of like hockey, like AAA hockey, AA hockey? Like, what is it in the horse world?
So it's more so just the height that you jump at. And it's not necessarily and because there's equestrian, there's two athletes in the picture. It's not just one. So it's finding the balance with the rider and the horse together and finding the division. So for me, I'm not going to go jump 1.40 m tomorrow on a horse because I cannot do that. I am physically, mentally not there. Whereas I could get a horse could jump 1.40 m, but it's just not going to work for the two of us combined. And it's finding that relationship and that mix. So you can place the rider in divisions like hockey, and you could place the horse in divisions like hockey, but the combination is you can't really place it. You got to find that balance, and that's when your coach is essential. It's especially show jumping. You can't not have a coach. You need to have that coach to give you the feedback to help you realize where you're at and where you want to be and what division to go into, so you don't go and fail and then never want to ride again, right? So
so here we have some medals or like ribbons.
Ribbons, yes.
Being corrected, ribbons. They're talking to me. Ribbons. So my understanding is Chloe's 8. She's a Division A.
Yes.
And she basically over the spring and summer won at a show tournament. So can you explain that to us?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So there are, in the tournament that she participated in, there are 5 classes. So 5 classes means the horse and rider combination perform 5 rounds. So there's 4 jumping rounds and then 1 equitation on the flat, which is what we watched. That on the ground, no jumps. So 2 of the classes are hunters. So the judge is looking for what your horse is doing, how pretty you can make your horse. So nice, long, flowy lines, deep corners, going over the jumps. Like you want it to make this beautiful arc as they go over the jumps. And then there's 2 jumper classes. So jumper classes is just, it's much more objective because there's this amount of time that you have, go do this course, whatever the course is, and get the closest to that time. So in Chloe's divisions, because they're younger, they don't want kids ripping around the course and just going over jumps like crazy as fast as they can. So they actually do match the clock. So it's whatever kid or whatever student can get the closest to the optimum time for that course is the winner. But in the higher levels in Olympics, it's who can perform the course without any fault, so knocking any fences down in the fastest time.
Wow. Yeah. So it sounds very technical, and it sounds very mental as well, because you're mentally having to, like, especially for an 8-year-old, you probably got a lot on your mind, like you want to go home and eat jelly beans, or you want to go jump on a trampoline, but to be able to connect with that horse who really has a mind of its own, and to be able to control it to get around, that's quite impressive. It's a huge mental game, and the risk of equestrian is also, it's higher, but in a different way. Like you can fall off your horse at any point, and that's a huge setback for a lot of individuals. It's huge. You fall off your horse and you get in a wreck, like getting on that horse again, you have to rebuild that trust, rebuild that bond, versus another sport where it's just you. You only have to trust yourself. You have to build that relationship with the horse, because the last time you came off, you flew off the horse and then your horse took off on you and you're like, well, thank you so much, right? It's way different. It's huge. It's a huge mental game. Huge. Yeah, no kidding. Well, Hailey, I thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. It was great getting to know what it is for a coach to look at and be able to do with these students. When we come back after the break, we'll be talking with Hailey and her parents, and Chloe and her parents. Hailey, we can talk to your mom and dad too if you want. So we'll be coming back right after this break, and we'll be talking with Chloe, her mom and dad, and we'll talk to this little kid about how she's been able to work with this horse and get so many medals right off the bat. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Alberta Sports Show. This is Andrew Greenall, and today we have an 8-year-old guest. Chloe, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much. Happy Remembrance Day. Thanks for joining in this evening. Mom, Dad, how are you guys?
We're well. How are you?
Yeah, we're great. Thanks so much.
It's great to hear you guys. Thanks very much for giving us this opportunity, Chris and Lisa. Is it Lisa?
Luiza.
Thanks for giving us this opportunity to speak with Chloe. Such an amazing little athlete. 8 years old in grade 3, just wakes up one morning and goes, I want a horseback ride. Can you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sound.
Explain to us how I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So how did it happen,
Andrew,
Chloe? Tell us.
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, no problem. So how did Chloe just wake up one morning and say, I want to ride a horse? Or did you guys have something picked out? Or explain to us how she ended up jumping on the back of the horses.
So it's been her lifelong passion to ride horses. We tried at about when she was about 3 years old, and the horses were just way too big for her. She was afraid of them. So our son Marcus ended up taking over her lessons and riding the horses. And then we tried again at 8 when we thought the size would be appropriate for her. And so I booked an appointment. We got her package at ACE, Advanced Connection Equestrian, and we got her the beginner's package to see how she would feel about horses, and she loved it right from the get-go. And from then on, she wanted to sleep at the barn. She doesn't even want to come home from her lessons.
Chloe, is the barn floor better than your bed?
Yes.
Yes. So Coach Hailey tells me that you have to clean up all the poop. Is that true?
Yes.
How much other stuff do you have to do to keep the horse happy?
Well, I have to groom them so it's like a good bond between each other. And I have to clean up his stalls and his feed buckets.
And you have to feed him too, right?
Yes, and his feed.
Do you get to give him apples?
Yes.
Carrots?
Yes.
All right,
That's
I'm in.
That's
I can feed the horse.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ride it, but I could probably help feed him. I have a bunny rabbit. He likes carrots and lettuce and celery.
Well, there you go.
Kind of figuring the horse would be about the same. So Chloe, your mom and dad give you this gift. You go and ride the horse. What was it like? Was it fun? Was it exciting?
It was very exciting because it was my dream since I was like very little.
So do you think that you're going to be a professional horseback rider when you're older?
Yes.
You do? Dad, tell me how this is has this brought your family closer, you know, getting to go watch her ride the horses? Because I understand that Chloe is this animal lover. So has she tried to bring the horse home with her?
Not quite yet.
Not yet.
Like Luiza said, she lives at the barn. She'd prefer to sleep there. It's been quite interesting just to watch the transition from trying different things like gymnastics and martial arts and ballet, and she played piano, and she still does. And it was always one of those, well, that was fun for a couple months and I'm done. Watching this, knowing that she's been in love with animals for so long, since she was small, that it's interesting to see that this is something that she loves to do. And I think it's that affinity for animals that is keeping her at it, which I think is awesome. It's been really good for us because she's never really had that one thing for everybody to go do. And now she does. And we enjoy watching her be happy doing what she's doing right now.
That's very true. Good statement. You know, as a parent, you want to make sure your child's having the utmost fun and excitement and hopefully learning from it. From talking with her coach, Hailey, this brings in a lot of maturity in a lot of these youngsters because they have to take care of the horse. They have to feed it, groom it, clean out the stall, and then they have to play a mental game with the horse. So it's that's good to hear that you guys are doing that. Hailey, can you explain this picture to me? You have all of these ribbons. Did you win all of these?
Yes, I did.
So
can you explain how you won them?
Well, I worked really hard and I was really excited to do it, so I worked really hard and I just got them.
And you just got them. Did you steal them?
No.
No. So you worked hard. Did you walk beside the horse, or what was it actually you that we saw riding in that video earlier?
Yes, it was me.
That was you? So you won these. Mom, maybe you can explain, because I don't know. How did Chloe manage to win all of these so quickly, like 8 years old?
So 8 years old, her passion drives her, and I think we can see the results of it right there on the picture that you see. This is the show. This was the first show she did. So most of those ribbons are, I believe, third places, which was incredible for just having to ride for a month and then get those ribbons. From there on, she did her second show where she actually received champion of her whole division that Hailey was explaining, which is a very big deal because out of all the classes that she was riding in, she beat out everyone that's been riding for quite some time.
This one here.
That's the one here that we just saw. And then her third show that she just completed about
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. This is the picture right there. She also received champion for her division, which are unheard of accomplishments. We're so proud of her. And like I said, her passion drives her, and we can see the results.
Chloe, why are you standing on the back of the horse?
What's that called?
That's how you practice your balancing, so you know how to balance on a horse.
Okay, Chloe. Okay,
Yeah, I was
are you a
speechless when I saw that too.
Yeah, are you a daredevil, Chloe? Do you jump off the roof, Chloe?
No.
Like, how tall is that horse? That horse looks 5 times bigger than you.
And
Yes.
that's the thing about Chloe. She prefers humongous horses. So not little horses. The bigger the better for her.
So, Chloe, what's this horse's name?
Wave.
Sorry, Wave?
Wave, yeah.
Wave? Wow. And he just lets you stand on his back like that, like it's like you're going to a picnic. He's just like, all right, Chloe, hop on, I got you.
Yep.
Wow. Chloe, you are an amazing young lady. Dad, would you do that?
No, you couldn't pay me to do that.
Yeah,
she's ridden bigger horses. Spartan for her third show is a little bit also bigger than Wave.
there's a bigger horse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Which I think is crazy for an 8-year-old. Yeah. And she loves the big ones. She likes the big horses.
I think this is the big guy here that we're talking about.
Yes.
Is that him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
like
Mark.
Chloe, you're not even up to the dude's little head there. Like, look at you.
Yeah.
So which one's your favorite? Is this one your favorite or Wave?
This one's my favorite.
This one? He, I don't think, I'm not sure. Are you sure that he likes you? Look at his eyes. I'm not sure. I think he's going, this little girl's being mean to me. So what do you do with this horse?
Can you tell me?
Ooh.
Well, he grooms me, and when he grooms someone, he likes you. So basically, if you're like grooming his neck, he'll reach over and start licking you and your back.
Really? And that means they like you.
Sometimes he even chews on my jacket.
Are you sure he's just not hungry, Chloe, and he thinks that you're a carrot? Like, I notice that you have, red hair. Does he think you're a carrot?
Maybe.
Maybe. Like, Chloe, I'm impressed. You're 8 years old in grade 3. You won over a weekend of being with, like, look at this. We have another video here, Chloe, that, maybe you or your mom can tell us what you're doing in this video. Like, what are you doing here, Chloe? I don't know if you can see that, but.
That's one of your jumping ones. Yeah.
Oh, you're jumping.
Can you see that
that's
one?
my jumping round.
Your jumping
That was
round.
my jumping round. Yeah.
So what do you do?
So what are you making the horse do right here?
Well, I have to squeeze the leg so it goes actually over the jump because she likes to stop at a lot of jumps.
Hmm.
And then you go into two-point position.
And I go into 2-point position so you're on the horse's neck and you actually hold on.
Again, Chloe, I don't think I could do this. This looks really scary. Is it scary, Chloe?
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes? But it does look like this horse likes you. Like, look at that. Not even flinching, just jumping. Wow. How long did that take you, Chloe, to teach the horse how to do that?
How long did you ride for?
3 months?
Yeah, about 3 months. Yeah.
3 months, probably.
3 months. Whoa! Oh, you almost fell there, Chloe.
See that? Yeah.
Wow.
What do you do in the
That took skill.
If she stops at a jump, you go around barrel or a thing, and you go back again and do the jump again.
Oh. There, yeah, it looked like I think it was that lady with the phone. I think the lady with the phone freaked her out. Did you see that? There was a lady with a phone there. Yeah, that would freak me out too, being a horse. That's very impressive. And here's another photo of you.
Oh, great.
On a different
back into
horse.
another video. You are a remarkable young lady, Miss Chloe. I'm honored to be speaking with you this evening. So you are a beginner. You are in Division A. So my understanding, talking with your coach Hailey, that means that the bar isn't really high, but it's high enough. So do you want to be able to jump like higher bars when you get older?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you trying to think of the way to ask you this. Do you have to be able to jump the bar before the horse does it?
Yes.
So you have to be able to run and jump the bar before the horse can do it.
That was a good one.
You like that, eh?
Yeah.
I'm thinking not, Chloe, because I don't think I could jump high. So Chloe, what attracted you to horse jumping? Did you see it when you were little? Did your mom and dad take you to the Spruce Meadows, or did you just? Yeah, they took you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Her,
boys.
her, yeah, her passion for horses has just always taken us around horses, but because she's so tiny, she really is 43 pounds. She's, I don't know how tall she is. She's very petite and tiny. It's hard for you to tell on the video here, but so we were never really able for her to ride at such a small size. So we would always take her around horses, and especially Spruce Meadows were able to purchase tickets and participate in all the shows. So she was able to be around the horses and just watch. And so she's always watched, and she could walk. Really, we've been taking her to Spruce Meadows and Stampede, of course, yes, every year Stampede except this year. So, but hopefully next year, actually, the goal is for Chloe to show at Stampede, which would be the ultimate goal for us, because it's her most favorite show on earth. It really is, and we spend there the full 10 days out of every year. And so for her to be able to show at Stampede would be a huge achievement for her.
Yes.
Wow. I'd come and watch you, Chloe. That would be fun. Do you ever look at some of the other sports in horses? Like there's barrel racing, there's the chuck wagon. Do you want to do that type of stuff too?
Tell me what you want to do.
I would like, when I'm older, I would like to be like a professional jumper.
Mm-hmm.
And do what? What else?
Oh, and do dressage.
What's dressage?
So dressage is where it's the ultimate form of riding. It's the ultimate connection between horse and its athlete. And you make the horse do dances, really. It is it was started in 1918 as an Olympic sport, and it is the highest form of riding, and it's just making the horse do a show for people, lifting its legs up and dancing and turning, and they usually do it to music. It's incredible, but that's a lot of work. That's many years down the road.
So Chris, are you taking out another mortgage on your property?
Pretty soon, yeah. between this and hockey, and I work a lot of overtime.
Wow. So Chloe wants to make the horse or help the horse dance.
Yes.
That is just, wow, Chloe, that is a good goal to set, buddy. That is wow. I'm speechless. I didn't know you could make a horse dance, to be quite honest with you. I didn't even know much about this until I read up on horse jumping and what it entailed. So you are quite the accomplished young athlete, Chloe. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Now I want to ask you, because your dad sent me an email. Can you explain how you are an animal whisperer? Do you go up to them and whisper in their ear, or like how does that happen?
Well,
like, should we be bringing our dogs and cats to you, Chloe?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, sometimes we have a really talky cat, and sometimes I'll like say a sentence to him and he'll talk back to me.
And what does he say to you, Chloe? Does he say that he's hungry?
Usually.
Yes.
Usually. Yeah. My dog
and she does seem to have a really good connection with cats and dogs and horses, and there's a couple horses at the barn that they're difficult, and Chloe grabs them, and then there's no issue, and people kind of look at her weird, and she'll spend 20-30 minutes with these horses and talk to them, and they're like, what? This horse doesn't do this with kids. So yeah, she's got a little bit of a gift, I think.
Well, just looking at some of these pictures and just some of the videos that we were able to get a hold of, Chloe definitely has something that is, in my mind, for an 8-year-old, is very amazing. It's amazing to see how horse and athlete, just talking with Hailey, how Chloe has been able to I guess garner respect, if you will, with the horse, and then the horses gain Chloe's respect, and just they're almost like one athlete put together. This is quite impressive. Chloe, do you see yourself traveling with the horse in the near future and being able to compete in maybe the worlds or, you know, what's out there? Do you see yourself doing that? Which horse would you like to bring with you? This guy or the other one?
The other one.
The other one. Aw, the horse has feelings too, Chloe. But the other one? It's so Chloe, what other sports? Sorry?
The other one, that one was Wave, and the other one, she's taken quite a liking to Spartan.
Yes. Hailey said that to me earlier, Chloe, that Spartan and you are kind of, you guys are BFFs, best buddies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Chloe, I thank you very much for joining us this evening and telling us and having your parents with us to tell us all about horse jumping and how you've come around it. But I do have one question for you. What is the best thing that you've done with a horse so far? Like, did you take it down a path? Did you ride it to school? What's the best thing you've done with a horse yet?
Probably my first time jumping.
Why was that the best?
Because I can experience it, and if I want to do it professionally when I'm older, I'll know what to do.
Wow. You are a very mature young lady, Miss Hailey. Or sorry, Miss Chloe. Hailey's the coach. I talked to too many people today. You're a very mature young lady, Miss Chloe. Thank you very much for joining us with your mom and dad. I'm going to keep track of you, and I hope to see you in the Olympics one day. And I want to be able to interview you. So when you win at the Olympics, Chloe, you remember me, the little guy, okay? And you come and we'll have another interview, and we'll talk about this.
Of course.
Of course.
Because really, I don't think I could jump a horse. That's just, I can't. And standing on the back of the horse, Chloe, like, oh.
Yeah.
Do you think your brother would do that?
No.
No? Yeah, I don't think he would either. I think he likes his hockey. But anyhow,
Yeah.
Chloe, Mom, Dad, thank you for joining us this evening on this awesome Remembrance Day. So thank you very much. Really appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Yeah,
you're
thank you for
welcome.
having us, Andrew. Greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Everyone, thanks very much for joining us this evening on Primetime Alberta Sports Show. We'll be back next week with more interesting and cool sports. So thanks very much. We'll talk to you all soon.